Good morning and welcome to Sunup on 7. My name is Renata Sabosquad.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kevin Mendez. Welcome to your Wednesday episode of Sunup on 7. Thank you so much for welcoming Renata into your space. Ren, let's tease them what can they expect on today's show.
Excitement is coming in because we're going to be talking about BEL and safety measures. It's hurricane season. What do you need to do to protect yourself? How are they prepared to also, in case something happens, to move out and make sure that we are restored when it comes to power? So we're going to be talking about all of that and so much more. But what else do we have about
What else do we have? We have a juicy couch talk to go through because we're going to hear what was happening in Belmopan and what investigations will take place, but also a public consultation, and immigrants have something to say about that.
It's very juicy, guys. We have a lot to dive into. We're going to be pacing ourselves towards it because thoughts and tensions and all the things under the sun and responses about gases and we're here for it all. And you know how this works.
Okay.
Put your comments in the comment section. Make it live, interactive, and respectful. Of course.
Yes.
Shall we get to the call?
Yeah.
I've come to find that the truth isn't what we were told. So where
to everybody on Sunup.
do I seek the answer that's worth looking for today? Just in time,
And he's here to talk to us
the
about
writing appears on
the
the
show that we're on
wall.
right now. Tell me,
You
this
and
one you're
I were the first ones to see.
And we're going to be talking about the hush hush that has been
The
happening
world
with
that
the
we see
So
may
far.
seem that will never change. They say, but if you tear down the wall that's blinding us all, you'll see the way today. A place to call your home, a place where you can go. Stand by me and we'll take flight. We'll be there at morning's light. I've got you.
Muy buenos dias, beautiful people. Welcome to your Wednesday episode of Sunup on 7. Thank you so much for welcoming Renata into your space if you're watching via YouTube. cable TV, or Facebook, we're very excited for your company. Before we get into all the greatness of today, let's bring you the weather, and that's courtesy of the Belize Met Service.
Good morning. Relatively dry conditions prevail over the region and will support generally fair weather over most areas today and tonight. The 24-hour forecast is for sunny skies with a few cloudy spells today and cloudy skies at times tonight. Showers and thunderstorms will be isolated, except for a few more over the south tonight. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to southeast at 10 to 20 knots, and the seas will be choppy to moderate. High temperatures today will range from 89 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast to 95 inland, except only 82 degrees up in the mountains. The outlook is for mainly fair weather with only isolated showers or thunderstorms on Thursday, with the chance for a few more over the south Thursday night. There is a high tide at 11:12 this morning and a low follows at 6:55 this evening. Another high is at 1:02 tonight and another low at 5:40 tomorrow morning. The sun rose at 5:17 this morning and will set at 6:24 this evening. The moon goes down at 7:49 this morning and comes up again at 9:24 tonight. In the tropical weather outlook, tropical cyclone formation is not expected in our area of interest during the next 48 hours. In the sargassum update, there is the possibility that a few more sargassum mats could drift ashore during the coming days, resulting in moderate impacts on beaches across the country. With that, we end this report from the Belize Weather Bureau.
Weather.
That's our weather update for sure. So, better weather today. I mean, less rain, which is good.
I mean, like the Lee rain,
It's always good, you know?
It had a little coolness to it. It had a little calmness to it with the days that are busy and everything under the sun. So, yeah. But we're here, guys, and we're prepared for a new day.
And we're going to make the best out of it.
Amen. Yes, we're
Yes.
going to be doing that fully. How are you guys feeling in the chat? Let us know. Let's dive into it. And how are you feeling, Kev?
A bit overwhelmed. A bit overwhelmed, but I'm good. The couch talk that we're going to go through is heavy.
It's a lot
So
of
it's just
stuff.
like trying to put my thoughts together as how we're going to go through this. But definitely, we're a great tag team, so we're doing
Yeah,
a
we're
great job
going to
at
dive
it.
in and whatever,
Yeah.
like, one slip out. I'm sure that even the viewers are here to add in some kind of sentiments to make things work the way it needs to work. So, without any further ado, we shall get into this couch talk.
Yeah, well, how are you feeling today before we get into that? Let's do a check-in, yeah?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling relaxed, feeling relieved and ready. We had a good training yesterday. So I'm feeling... Training, yeah, on prevention against sexual exploitation and abuse.
I saw, with
harassment.
UB and the EU, yeah?
Yes. So it was a really great training and it was very well attended and I enjoyed seeing, the discussion that took place. So feeling good. I always like when people are able to build their capacity, offer opinions, think a little bit more.
I'm curious about that. Do you feel like people showed up because the sexual abuse and assault in their places is common, or is it something as a prevention before it happens? Like, what motivated people to join this training session?
Well, it was something that was organized with the University of Belize and the UN, right? And so there was a different range of different persons coming to it. So it was NGOs, UB, past, present students too. So it was a good mixture. I'm not sure how they delivered the information. It's just something that was requested by UB with us, and it was a partnership from last year. That's something that was supposed to take place and finally was able to happen to this year. I think people show up for many different reasons as to their NGOs maybe thinking like, hey, we're hearing a lot of things on the news and so forth, we want to prevent this. People show up because they don't necessarily know much about this topic and they want to learn a little bit more. People show up because they're asked to show up, so it's like, you know what, it's mandatory, but then when you're there, you're like, oh, this was very beneficial, this is helpful, because a lot of persons were talking about what do we have in place, what clauses, policies, what is in our hiring process that looks at prevention of SEA and all these different things. So it had people thinking, what are the steps that we're supposed to be taking? Because you're knowing the UN has these steps, but what do we have too? And people are looking at the law, all these different things. So I'm really glad to see, people thinking in that aspect.
And the reason I ask is because I realize that there's a lot of workplaces that do not have policies that protect against sexual assault and exploitation. And it's very weird that you would have all these things in place, but you are not having that. I know the Ministry of Public Service, last year they were discussing sexual assault and exploitation and develop policies around it. you know, especially for a public service sector to not have this, I'm like,
People don't even
been-
have it in their hiring process.
Exactly,
Like, they're not
exactly.
questions that are asked about someone. Have you engaged in any sexual misconduct? Is there a pending investigation? How does that look? If something would happen, what would be the process? Would you be put on administrative leave? For how long? How the investigation?
Yeah.
Who can people, report to? How anonymous is it? Is there anything or any barrier in place for safety measures for when people try to retaliate? Because if it's a manager against an employee and all these different things, people don't know about the power struggle. Like, it was a really in-depth conversation because there's a power struggle between two persons on the same level. Like,
course,
two
yeah.
same employees, maybe one employee is in there for a longer time, they have better relationship with the manager. Like, these are little things we don't necessarily think about, and how power can be represented and be a big factor when it comes to, one of the big factors when it comes to exploitation and abuse. So definitely, really great conversation. So I was happy.
Definitely. It's good to hear that people connect with it, and positive changes are coming for the workplaces.
Yes,
Definitely.
I'm hoping and praying.
All right, so let's get going with our couch talk.
Ooh.
And so the first topic that we're going to be diving into, and this is like the first, it's talking about, Dr. Bonilla's murder that took place in Belmopan last Friday. As we reported on Monday, there was a Justice for Peace rally that took place in Belmopan at 5 p.m. and over 500 persons attended in solidarity.
Very well attended.
Because for one, they've known Mr. Bonilla. For one, the residents of Belmopan, they're saying Belmopan is a safe place and this kind of violence does not belong here. But also like calling out the area representative and the Minister of Home Affairs for a proper investigation and justice to take place in this situation. And so Mr. Mira, who's the Minister of Home Affairs, did say that they're going to do whatever is in their power to ensure that there's a proper investigation, even if they need to bring like foreigners to do a proper investigation, that they will do that to ensure that justice is served in this case. Which, left people feeling a certain way because they're saying, why didn't you put the same level of energy in the murder that took place in February this year with Mr. Zamar Alvarez, who is also a resident of Belmopan? And so he had the reporter be like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's just you like assuming that we did not have the same level of energy in this situation that took place in February's comparison to now. He's like, we do not know what happened behind the scenes. We did great, investigation and having great conversations, but for you to assume that we're not putting the same level of energy.
They said,
It's not the
actually
case.
from last year, and so or I think it was this year, I'm not trying to remember, but he said from going forward, they've been having several meetings with the commissioner and other stakeholders to make sure that justice is brought to all cases that were brought forth for them, that the police department is doing an exponential job at being able to like deal with all of, the cases that they're receiving right now. And when you say all these kind of things, for me personally, I just need numbers in that case. If you're gonna be saying that there's a lot that's taking place, I just need numbers to know like how far investigations were taking place in that sense, and like how much people have been detained, how much people are under investigation, like how deep are you going in. And the reason I say this is not to take away anything from Dr. Noam, but it's just to look also like at the peer point where persons can actually feel like, okay, because there was a rally, because all this was taking place, what about when my loved one has gone through what they've gone through? Like, are we not giving the same attention? Because if you're saying you're gonna bring in persons to do this, like it's the investigation going on its next level kind of thing to bring justice for such an unfortunate situation, is that the same energy that you put into all of them? Or is it just because this one is getting so much traction, so we need to make sure we find some results? We need to be able to like nail this down now and deal with it because we have citizens that will hold you accountable, or because, that's taking place. So I'm not held as higher or as a bigger accountability happening for you for the other cases, because people aren't fretting as much as maybe one grieving mother, a family here, whatever it is, as compared to hundreds of persons that are walking out. There's a council's association that's calling for justice, and so like I'm just thinking about that line under it too.
Yeah. I guess we can. A similar question that was asked to him, like the level of energy they're putting in this case. Again, it goes back to a question that we spoke about yesterday, which is why didn't the same level of energy and rallying for justice has taken place in other murders that have taken place? If you look in Belmopan, for instance, why hasn't the same level of energy and the same level of demand been done for those other cases? But definitely, like, the investigation continues, and it's good to hear at least that there is a strong commitment coming from the police department in ensuring a proper investigation is done and ensuring citizen safety in Belmopan. But still on the conversation of Minister Mira, when he was asked if he has any regrets over filing charges for Mr. Alberto August, he said, no, as a matter of fact, the law is there for everybody to be able to use it as how they feel. If they feel like the law fits the case that they're fighting for, then by all means he's going to go ahead and use it. At the end of the day, yes, he's a public figure, he's a minister, but he's also a Belizean citizen. So by that, he is allowed to use the law as he best sees fit in this case.
And he made mention that, when he made the report, it was up to the police officers that whatever happened after that, that was all in their hands, which I think was very convenient to say, that at the end, when he said he made the formal complaint and the police then handled the matter without his interference afterwards. He also made mention that he wasn't very sure about anything of the Prime Minister John Bersenio that had to intervene and everything. He has not discussed the charges with the Prime Minister as yet. So, there's a lot of things underneath the story. One, where I will give it that okay, everybody can exercise the law, but the bigger question also goes into, and I think most people, that's the problem that people are facing with this situation, is just a series of how quick these events took place. Because yes, Kevin, you can make a complaint right now, but Kevin, I made the complaint, and maybe in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, then the complaint will be actually brought into any kind of action taking place. So there is a difference in how the advantage of the law can be taken for persons that are public figures, for ministers that control the entire ministry, because of course the police officers, if that is the case, might have a little bit more pressure, a little bit more fire under them to be able to deal, oh, my minister say X, Y, and Z, so I have to I have to go and proceed with dealing with this and filing it to the highest content, finding all kind of things in this way to make sure the law is utilized to its best ability. So yes, I hear it that everybody can be able to utilize the law and everything, but at the same time, you have to acknowledge your privilege. You have to acknowledge the things that you can be able to take advantage of. The fact that your case is completely, I have not seen any case. Even when, I'm trying to remember, former Commissioner of Police, his case took a little time to go through the courts and everything like that. Even when he did his report on the complaint of the cyberbullying that was taking place, I don't remember it being this quick to make sure that things are happening, like arrests that take place, so I'm just saying, yes, I can understand everybody has the option to utilize the law, but not pretend that you don't have privileges. You have privileges. You utilize your privileges of having power and that dynamic of persons being able to move way quicker for your case, your complaint, your report, than an average citizen, the average John and Joe out there. It not gonna happen that way. There's no way. And you know what? Prove me wrong by somebody making a report right now and say how quickly it will be dealt with. Because I bet you my last dollar, but the inflation, so my last 50 cents. So I bet you, it not happen that way. You go make a report right now. I promise you it will be dealt with in due time. This will never get dealt with in due time.
Yeah, and also reflect
And the extent
on what Mr. August had to say about the course of action that was taken for the post that he made on Facebook. He said that at the end of the day, if the minister wanted to humiliate him and cause anxiety on his family, that was a successful intervention that they did, because indeed, he was humiliated, he felt humiliated, and his family, the anxiety that went through, was something that, he wished not to experience anymore. Because indeed, if the fact that they had to call various ministers to assist in the situation, even call the Prime Minister to assist in the release of Mr. August, there was, a level of an exercise of power and a flex,
Yes.
which Minister Mira says it was not a flex. He was just using
If it don't
his...
flex, show me any other person who could do the same exact thing with a complaint and it get dealt with that quick. Show me any other person. I just want it in the books. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. That's what I just want to say, because if it's not a flex, if it's not something that you can just do out of the blue, any person out there, I would love to have any person report and tell us that, you know what, I did my report and literally the next day, the same day, whatever it is, it was dealt with just like that. You do that and I will quiet. I'll be cool. Just to say.
Yeah. Yes. So let's move on to our next Couch Talk topic, Ren. And
Yeah.
our next culture topic is that the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry is demanding, well, they sent out a letter to the Prime Minister, who is the Minister of Finance, that they're demanding lower fuel prices and and they're saying that the current cost of fuel prices is putting an increased pressure on the government and on people involved in this sector. So in their letter, they're calling for a greater transparency in regards to tax fuels that are currently in place. And basically in their letter, they're calling for the government to put a temporary tax cut on fuel and introduce short-term fiscal interventions and temporary reductions of fuel.
And of course, like he mentioned, not Brandon, yeah, I mean,
That's
Kevin mentioned before.
You miss Brandon too.
We all miss Brandon. But like Kevin mentioned, the request really comes from a cushion and a help because there's a big impact happening with the MSME enterprises as well as ordinary households. They talk about the fact that we really need to help the citizens of Belize and that the fuel prices are hurting businesses and consumers, and the government should temporarily collect less tax on fuel so that the pump prices can come down. So far, we know that the Office of the Prime Minister has not actually made any statement that they agree with the request for the temporary fuel tax collect back and everything. We do know that they had posted, you know, to a certain level, the increases, but they want the actual real full-on breakdown for show me every single nit and every cent what happened. Because the reality is, yes, the government can say that, you know, they're absorbing maybe $1 or whatever it is, but the reality is, like, at the end of the day, it's still a lot at the pump that people have to be experiencing, and this will drive and increase the cost of production, services, everything under the sun. Right now, it is like when you look at any person that has to drive and come to our next location, they have to raise their price now for the transportation fee that they have.
Yeah.
And overall, for service providers, person that do deliver, all these things have to start to increase. So I understand completely. The people, the consumers, the normal households, they feel it. The small businesses who do not have like a big tax break or anything like that, they feel it. So there is that big push and there is that big call. But the problem is, will they hear it? Will they listen and adhere to it? And can they even do anything about it? Because they themselves have so much other things due this year. So are they in a position financially to deal with it? So these are all the questions I was thinking about because I'm 100% behind them. Yes. Belize Chamber of Commerce, come through with it. Make the request. Ask them if broke it. I want to the itty-bitty, everything of the thing. Just like when you get a bill.
It was also about time. You know that they intervene in this situation of the high cost of fuel in the country, where they're, you know, doing their best to plead for their stakeholders to reduce the cost of fuel. I also wonder how are they accommodating employees in this space, because again we're talking about the high cost of transportation. And I know that there's many people that during COVID, they were working hybrid from home. They were working at home, and then after COVID, you know, laws went out, people were moving itself, they went to hybrid. Some of them now are moving full on back in office. You know, how are they accommodating them? Because, you know, your salary has not changed. The cost of transportation has increased. The cost of fuel has increased. And now you need to budget now the additional cost of all of these things, right? So how are you as employees being taken into account? Are you now going to be allowed the opportunity to work from home again, given the cost that you have to incur to be in your workplace? You know, there's many factors that also need to be included here to also ensure that not just employers, but also employees are meaningfully
taking into
considered
consideration.
into this situation.
Like I said, I'm trying to remember if it was the Philippines or one country in Asia, we had spoken about it, that they decided to shorten their work week. I think it was take off the entire Wednesday and so forth because they know.
4 days, yeah.
So I'm just saying, we don't have to be that dramatic, but look at hybrid working schedule, flexible arrangements when it comes to time and schedules and these different things, just to see what can be done. But I still go back to the fact that, you know, there are prices that kill people, man. It'll kill people. People are struggling with that. So how can we be able to really do? And, you know, I even love how the Chamber of Commerce made mention, how are they also being secured that if internationally, globally, if the prices did change, will they fix their prices here? Or they say, well, they're not trickle down to we as yet, you know, that kind of thing, or whatever along that line. Because people want to know, how are you best securing us? Things hard right now, and then it feels like it just gets harder every single day with a new hit.
Yeah, and it's just going to get harder.
Yeah, so it's just that's how people feel, and they're not the pay to go up. Don't let it go up.
Yeah, but then I think you also have to take into consideration the geopolitics that's taking place, right? It's just getting, worse, not in the best situation. But again, we're gonna stay put to what's gonna be the response from the Minister of Finance, Mr. John Briceño, to this letter coming from the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry demanding lower fuel prices. Move on to our next culture.
Somebody tweet me, they say how fried chicken gone up by $1.
Man.
It gone up again because it went up too before. $5 fried chicken and never $5 anymore. I think it began to $6, then it began to $7, and I think it gone to $8.
I still not $5 chicken anymore.
No, baby. Just like how Dalavan has never been Dalavan for a hot minute. I mean, always $2, now at $3.
And so dollar tacos are not dollar tacos no more, true? They're like $1.25 tacos.
Hey, no, I've heard things about that. Even like panares and anything there. Then they gone up. They're not like...
Man.
Dollar used to be for $3. I 100% sure that I don't know for $3 like that in some places. Maybe they have some people where they give you like pizza, or leave pizza, drop a fish, and then give you the rest of the can or something like that and call it $3 for the thing. But I mean, $3 for dollar, but honey, I cannot start on it, but just to say.
Fried chicken gone up. Oof.
A lot of things are going up.
A lot of things are going up, yes.
And it's just how people are navigating with all, graduation is happening right now. People have to send their children to school if they can even afford to send their children to school. They're not like they've increased the amount of scholarships that we have. So how people are able to afford to even go to a higher education, find jobs, these different things. I'm thinking about high schoolers that have to go into tertiary institutions. All of these things to think about. People that struggle, it's hard to be able to support your child with going to it. And there's only so much scholarships available on a bunch of woods to be able to support people. There's a suffering happening, and who feels it knows it. A lot of times, a lot of people that are making the big decisions, they're under the here and there, at least squeak from somebody or somebody. They don't know it. They don't have necessarily sometimes a family member that's going through it. And if they do, they're not necessarily their struggle at that time. So how are you really trying your best to make sure that people are provided for in that sense? How are these advisors advising?
Yeah, we move on to our next Couch Talk topic. And so this topic talks about the public consultations that are taking place in the City River Hopkins area as regards to the annexing of the community as regards to indigeneity, indigenous communities, and annexing it to the.
So basically, the Ministry of Rural Transformation held a public consultation, like Kevin was saying.
Yes.
And so under that same view, they are meeting with the villages around the area to talk about boundaries and disputes involving Hopkins, City River, and Placencia and St. Bite, right? And so this one specifically is looking at City River.
Yes.
So just to put some context into one of the many, no, it's totally fine. It's like one of the many consultations that they were having. And this one brought a lot of controversy because like Kevin said, one of the persons that have lived in the City River, an immigrant, well, they made two different comments. So one specifically was talking about not feeling favorable about annexing City River into Hopkins area and saying that it's a non-Garifuna area. So they're questioning the boundary of why are we kind of grouping it all together. They don't feel like it makes sense. And they even posed some other questions about if the Garifuna people really, even settled there because mangroves were still there and, they never clear no mangroves, that they didn't want to clear the mangroves and they didn't want to settle there. Well, you're laughing, Kev, but this is the true statement
that's
of
what they said. Yeah, and I'm like...
This is what they say.
I guess that's how colonizing work,
And that's one of the things that... keeping it together.
Yeah,
and keeping it together. But those comments were made along that line of there was a distrust and there was a divide and a gap when it comes to the Garifuna and understanding if this land really is supposed to be deemed indigenous land, it is supposed to be deemed for the Garifuna. They said how that they've been settling on it. And so it's basically saying, don't group me in there with a separate people. Now, this in itself is a whole integrity that has so much different layers towards it because also people kind of argue and say, beyond even putting the Garifuna in, the Creole from ages upon ages, City River, Monkey River, all these places were more Creole dominant areas too, right? But we know through time that, places have been sold, and a lot of things have been taking place when it comes to inhabitants and all of that in itself. But the big question comes, because the Garifuna Council answered towards this, and they were very upset when it comes to understanding, like, okay, we have come and we settled on all of this coastline. And what was even interesting about the statement that was made by the Garifuna Council is looking and saying that we, very warm and homey and like in welcoming people, have actually allowed persons to come. We've sold off land and everything, allowed persons to come and live in different areas too as well. Just because we didn't clear off the mangroves and all these things does not mean that we weren't here from the beginning in that time and we didn't settle. It's a disrespect to their culture, it's a disrespect to their history, to their traditions. They talk about how they have ancestors buried along the coastline at this point in time, or it's like, are you not seeing this? Are you not recognizing? And it's very offensive to make you look and see that this area and say it's a non-Garifuna area and that it should not be included in that sense. So I think there's a lot of offense and tension that was built because of the statements that were delivered. I'm not sure if there's a way that the statements could have been delivered a little bit more gentle. I don't know, because people say their thoughts. People say exactly how they feel, and
Public consultation.
and it's a public consultation. If you want to say this, you say that, and you go along with that line.
So
But
for me, there's so many things to talk about here. For one is like having a clear definition of what indigeneity means and indigenous people mean. And I think we're still navigating that conversation. I feel like the recent actions coming from the Maya Leaders Alliance in terms of delineating their boundaries has also prompted the Garifuna people to be able to now delineate what are their lands too, which is what I can see prompted this conversation as regards to the public consultations taking place in City River. What I feel and what other people were talking about is there's this immigrant, person from the United States that migrated here. What is their say in terms of indigeneity? Like, boy, you do not belong here kind of thing, right? So why are you putting your 2 cents into this conversation? And I feel like that on its own does not sit well with people, given the whole neocolonialism that's taking place globally, how gentrification affects people and all of these things. So it's like, I can see where, as a resident of the area, he's allowed to make his contribution. But as regards to the global view on neocolonialism, how, is this the right place for you to come and give that opinion, right? And in the manner how you said it too. At the end of the day, the gentleman is just asking some questions that
he was just asking
could have been addressed also in this public consultation. I'm not sure if they were addressed, but I guess we just picked up on what they had to say. But it's
a lot to be able to look at it. I know that one Del Morgan that was in the consultation spoke about how that the emotion and opinion of the overall consultation lacked a lot of historical facts about looking and seeing exactly for City River and Hopkins and the voting boundaries and understanding, I think beyond this, because this consultation is supposed to bring up who feels where is what and what should be included in air. And with land, listen to me, land always brings some kind of problem, some kind of discussion. Somebody will answer, somebody I said and so, somebody I saw, somebody I said I nail it so, and always something with that. And so because of understanding that these disputes will be very emotional driven, very tense, because of you're dealing with people's homes. Somebody left their family, this home from years upon years, whatever it is, you're dealing with that idea of where I'm situated. Some people obviously will have an opinion towards it. I think now it's how the ministry will navigate dealing with these opinions, because somebody not be happy. There's no way everybody's gonna be happy when it comes to the boundaries and who's gonna be getting what and everything. And this is not the last time they're gonna be having this conversation. But I do think, things that are being contested when it comes to the development, when it comes to land titles and all these things under the sun, is there any views that persons are sharing that you wanted to share?
No, just some people are saying St. Bite is North Placencia, but you go to St. Bite with those talking and you will see what will happen in terms of I guess sharing your opinions in those spaces. I feel like there's there's a big fear in terms of how these opinions can help to reshape or how do they reshape communities? And I think that's a very valid concern that's taking place, because we've seen, for instance, in Hopkins, how immigrants that have come over, they're trying to change the culture. They've had issues with fire hearts. They've had issues with like drumming taking place and saying, we do not want this here. And I'm like, but whenever you move into these villages, you're conscious about where you're moving into, right? So it's very audacious of you to come and say, we bought this land and we have a right to determine how this land will get shifted. I mean, that's a product of gentrification, right? Of neocolonialism. But again, it's again the fear of how this changes things and changes your identity as a community. I can see it being very valid.
And I will also say the National Garifuna Council said the position is not that the area south of Hopkins is not a separate non-Garifuna community. They're not like kind of talking about that. But they're saying that Hopkins historically and culturally has been deemed as a Garifuna area, a Garifuna community in that sense. And so they're saying that they need to be educated when it comes to the history. They need to understand what, it is to be indigenous, what it is to have their claim and everything on this area, and saying what can and cannot go into areas too. And people were very offended when it comes to how they were trying to dismiss their history, dismiss their identity, and their ancestral connection to that land in itself. And so that's why there's this big uproar about how we're dealing. Because when you're saying like, you never consent upon this because the mangroves never move or blah, 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 etc., it's kind of like saying, well, I come.
Yeah, and before we move on to the next cultural topic, Ren, I just want your help here into like, in terms of accountability, has the Ministry of Rural Transformation talked about indigeneity, indigenous, FPIC? Are they educating people about this? Have you seen like any conversation around this?
I have not
I
seen
have
that
not seen
much
any.
conversation.
And the reason why I'm bringing it is because I feel like they do have the responsibility of educating people around this very sensitive topic. Because what we're seeing here is that like the lack of education and awareness of this topic is causing a divide within communities that for years they have lived together, right? So I am like, Ministry of Rural Transformation, you have to do something about this. You can't have people navigating what indigeneity is, because somebody's asking, what about Creole communities, right? So
was
like,
the Creole Council present there? Members? So
but
I'm all
again,
I was thinking,
going back
like,
to the Ministry of Rural
100%.
Transformation, is like, what are you doing to help people understand this process? Like we need to see more public awareness and education about this, and I feel like that will help to relieve tension. Because at this point where it's going, it may just increase in terms of like land conflict, and that's not something that we want. We're already going through a hard place. For us to add another like firewood into this fire that we're experiencing. So Ministry of Rural Transformation is like, how are you going to be addressing this? The public consultations are going like very, like community-based, but what are you doing to educate the whole community about it? Because everybody has an opinion at this point about what indigenous is. But, there are, like approved definitions and everything that we should be, guided by. And I think that's their responsibility of doing that.
No, 100%. I feel like, that's where we can look at indigenous affairs, can support with that idea of really letting these consultations be driven on, okay, these are the facts. This is the history. This is what we're going by here. So let's follow the conversation after stating these are the facts. These are the situation when it comes to indigenous, when it comes to indigenous persons who settled in the land first, etc., etc., and we can be able to derive our follow-up conversations from there. Because, like you said, land boundary and all these things, yes, it's one thing to talk about that, but people need to be educated before that. So when they come from a place of understanding of what was in place, what is in place, and what they need to put in place afterwards because of that. So I think that in itself is super important and super timely. I love to see them come on the couch, do more public, because it's not even just about the show. I would say like put out public campaigns so that people understand, because there's a multitude of different land boundary disputes taking place all across the country. We've heard about it, specifically down south, where it be PG, now we're talking about Hopkins area and everything. We need to be able to understand how we're navigating this. Education is really important for persons to know a little bit of their place and be informed of how they can derive their opinions too. So
yeah, we'll move on to our next Couch Talk topic. So The three-time mayor, Rigo Veos, can potentially be contested in a convention.
So it was interesting
And the
because
newcomer unseat the veteran mayor.
you know, I know that Jules has said here on the couch that we have this how do we say it? This unhidden and unspoken rule that, you know, if you are a two-time, three-time person, you're not supposed to be going into a convention because you've proven that you can be able to hold a seat and all these things.
Okay.
But because he's mentioned that before, he mentioned it just this morning too as
Yeah,
well. And I don't like it. Why I don't like it is because at the end of the day, democracy should prevail. Persons should be able to vote who they want to represent them. Persons should feel that they have the opportunity, not just because you to win, that you always win. Because guess what? There could be a term that I never happy with you, that I feel like you weren't, you know, putting my best concerns into consideration and all these things. I get it that in the past it was working, but maybe in the present it's not working right now.
Yeah.
So I do believe conventions are important. At any stage, at any level, and let you as a delegate prove yourself that you are worthy of the people, that the people want you to, and we could all sing kumbaya afterwards. I just don't think that just because you win for several times, that it automatically means you're gonna win, or that it means that you shouldn't have to go into a convention. I don't think that should happen. You should always be able to go into a convention, anybody at all, because it's up to the people to decide. It's up to the party for whatever party reasons need to decide, and later on for the people in general to be able to decide. Democracy needs to prevail. It can't be order because you're not this, that, that. So when Minister Garcia talked about, you know, this being something that's going to take place and it's healthy to have the discussion, I know it's going to cause interference, it's going to cause tension or whatever it is, but that's okay. This is a part of the democratic process. Not everybody I like, they have to vote for me or somebody going against me. But when you go into public office and when you go into these different positions, the way you come with. So, you know, I'm fully with her when it comes to that, and bring in the next person. It's a woman too in itself to be able to contest and see what the party will decide going forward from there.
Yeah, and so like the person that is putting their name in the hat is Miss Shajari Rogers.
Yes.
And on an interview, Ms. Thea Garcia, you know, shared that, you know, she's coming with a fresh vision, just like Minister Vale. She's been doing great community work and has, you know, success stories to bring to the table, and, you know, again, a new vision and a change that they want to see for the community in Corozal. So we'll see, but I connect with you. You know, at the end of the day, everybody should go through a process of doing a convention to determine if this is the new candidate that they want to represent them. I feel like also, like, you know, at the third time, you know, of being mayor, I feel like at some point there's gotta be a space where you can be like, all right, I'm out of here. You know, I like
Maybe
I've done
somebody
enough.
else a
Maybe
chance.
somebody else, right? And I feel like that's important in terms of the continuity and the succession and transformation of a place.
Yeah.
You know, because you need to allow other people to maybe see a different angle or a different perspective that you were not taking
100%,
into
Kev.
account. So we're gonna see what the residents of Corozal have to say. Would you want, you know, Minister Veos to go for another term? You know,
Oh, not minister. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor Veos.
I was like, ooh, you put him in a minister just
Look
now.
at that.
Ooh.
Maybe he should go for minister after 3 years of being mayor. You know, you never know. But let's see. You know, how this will go, and we move on to our last couch talk topic. Wow, this has been.
Yeah, it's a
Our
tough
last
one.
couch talk topic is that the Social Security Board of Directors has a new chair, and the new chair is Dr. Cherie Smiling Craig, and she moves from the Central Bank of Belize to Social Security Board of Directors. As we know, the former chair of the board, Ms. Chandra Nisbet, resigned a couple months ago.
And she already made it, she indicated that she was going to be stepping down soon,
Yeah.
so they had time to be able to look for the next person.
Yeah. So again, the Social Security Board put out a press statement welcoming their new chair, and of course, you know, wishing her all the best and talking about, you know, the trajectory that she's had that makes her best fit for this. Now, the question that's
Okay, yeah,
roaming
your
in the
question.
community is,
Roam it, make it
we
happen.
know that, well, we're speculating that one of the motives that Ms. Chandra Nisbet resigned was because of the BTL acquisition of SpeedNet, right? I mean, you know that I was a
There was a lot of
hot soup
conversations
taking
along
place
that,
on
yeah.
So now that the Social Security Board has a new chair, will this in any way influence, BTL's acquisition of SpeedNet? Will she
And it
have
could be
a different
influencing a
view
good,
of it?
yeah, it could be. Because
She
they
have a
hold
different-
about 3 seats when it comes to that. And we're not sure how it's going to be going. We know, like Kev rightfully mentioned, that when Miss Cancino was there, she wasn't able to really actually get into the nitty-gritty. It was kind of a prolonged thing, a thing that wasn't dealt with, that was with a beat around the bush kind of, in like, I don't want to necessarily deal with this acquisition kind of thing. They even mentioned that, just before she left, there was actually a meeting. So she left just before the meeting when it came to talking about the SpeedNet and all of that. But she's transitioning into private sector. And we're going to see what Dr. Craig is going to do. What I will say, I have worked with Dr. Craig previously, when I was at the Department of Services and we were on the board at YWCA. She's an incredible woman, I have so much confidence in her, super professional, super on the thing with that. So, like, I have no doubt that she will listen and voice reason and everything in that sense, but we don't necessarily know how that reason is going to be looking at what side it is, right? I just know, again, from my previous experience, that she was really great to work with, very easy to work with too, and she had a lot of love from the YWCA board members that were all there. So that was one experience. I'm not sure what it's going to be like for this, but I know that she comes with a wealth of experience in, boards and committees and being able to like handle herself professionally. So we'll see exactly how this looks.
Yeah.
Because this is a big decision
It's
for
a
the
big
country
decision,
to make, if that's the
again,
case.
She's
and
welcome, but
Social
definitely
Security.
the question that lingers is, will her role as chair in any way influence, BTL's acquisition of SpeedNet? So we're gonna leave that there and see how that goes. But just a reminder that this BTL SpeedNet acquisition is still not off the charts. We have not been talking about it. That does not mean that it's not, still in discussion.
Oh, yes, of course.
And we
I mean,
can
there's
see
a lot of
how
other
this
things
moves
happening,
taking
but
place
there's still things moving
that
in
realm.
place in the lead back burner. And I think, of course, you, as citizens, need to make sure you're asking still questions. Because, again, time to come around the city council elections, as soon as they come around and they start coming to your house, because as you all know, the air representative always come sometime with the candidate. That's the truth, that's how it happened. And when they come, sit there long and just ask their faith, this, that, the Tara, and ask them about some of the big issues that are burning and happening in the country. Challenge them to know exactly where do they stand, what's going to be taking place, how can the country benefit when it comes to fuel prices, when it comes to jobs and stuff. And when it comes to everything under the sun that's taking place. Ask them about the Budna case. Ask them about transparency when it comes to the police department. Ask them about all these things, because it's beyond just like when city council, I will say, city council elections coming around. Yes, it's one thing about the city, but it's overall country, national issues that we also need to be challenging them
That is
for.
true. That is true. Because you realize when they come with their propaganda, it's all on the future. We're going to do this.
What about the now?
But what about the now? And
What
I feel like that's an important angle that people need to take whenever they have this discussion with their candidates. The present situation now, and how are we going to address this now? Like, we don't want to hear about any future thing that, of course, it's good to see, how we're going to come.
but
But
those
what are you
dreams.
addressing our issues now? And, like recently in my conference that I went to in Jamaica, they talk about political activism. And it talks that political activism is beyond putting your name in the ballot if you want to run for a candidate. It's also how you engage with the candidates that are coming, but also when your person that you favored won, how do you still continue to engage them in the conversation? And the fact that it was not the candidate you favored means that you're going to let them go with whatever they decide. It's like, you vote them for a reason to address your issues now. So like, how are they addressing your issues now? And said, if you want to have the best outcome, then you need to be part of the conversation for your identity and your challenges and your needs to be addressed, right? Because if you're not part of the conversation, you're letting them go, then they will just do as they please.
Yeah.
So political activism is very, very key in transforming, the space that we are. So elections, as you mentioned, is going to come up for municipalities.
And then people
next
start
year.
from very early. We're in June, so you're going to start seeing people come on the streets, I would say like maybe September, October, or maybe after. We're not sure. But regardless, you're going to see people, when you're seeing them, what are you going to be asking them? Don't make it just be complaints also. I would love for you guys to offer solutions and say, this is how I see the situation. This is what I think the government should do. This is what I would like you to do. I know that you're dealing with council and everything, but there is still a say that you can have. There is still a pull and an influence that you can have from your council. So how can you be able to support with the things that I find concerns? So guys, hold people accountable, man. we need to stop thinking that we don't have a say. We have to make sure we push ourselves. You may be one person, but you're that one person who got to vote, we could vote yes or no towards them. Utilize that. It's some power there. There's some power.
Okay, so we've been announced that we have to wrap up our contract,
Yes.
which is good. I'm like,
Kevin's like, I can't breathe again. I've been struggling.
no, I mean like
to get-
these are very important topics, but again, it's so much to be able to digest, and we are grateful for everyone to put their contribution to these topics, you know, and how does this affect our daily livelihood? We, as we wrap up our couch talk, we have birthday shout outs to do, so we're gonna cue in
Yes, I have one birthday shout out. We have the next one?
pictures.
Or, I know about my one.
Okay, so the first birthday shout out is for June. So Miss Yvonne Roland was like, please send a happy birthday shout out to my daughter. So June, we wish you a happy birthday. Your birthday was yesterday. You know, continue being this bubbly, joyful, sweet person, you know, and a great teacher to your students. I hope that you enjoyed your birthday. I know Miss Yvonne said we're gonna take her out for dinner and have a great time. I'm sure you had a fantastic time. So happy birthday on behalf of us and your mom.
Love it. Made me filled with all the wonders of happiness, laughter, joy, and a lot of peace as you navigate a new chapter of growth, of development. Have a blessed birthday. And then let's do our next birthday shout out to my beautiful cousin, Erin. Happy blessed birthday, girly pop. May it be filled with all the wonders of adventure, of laughter, of, you know, being the best mother and wife that you can be, and all the essence that you bring to the table. May you continue to nurture your daughter and your husband and yourself, and take time for you, enjoy life as you navigate a new stage, a new chapter that God has given you. May God bless you bountifully, you know, in all areas of your life. Happy blessed birthday. I love you dearly.
That was so sweet.
Kev's like, man,
You better
Renat,
record my voice birthday greeting.
I will
Because you're not
record
going to be here.
I know I'm not gonna be
You
here for
better
your
record it.
birthdays. I'm gonna record. Kevin.
I want a birthday shout
Kevin's
out
like,
like that.
I want something like that too. Okay, put some respect on my name and my age. How old are you gonna be again, babe?
I'll be 37.
Look at you, baby.
37 in 2 weeks.
37. How are your bones feeling?
Great, actually.
Then why Brendan always a complain?
That's a different person. Yeah.
Because like, yeah, I don't think I hear you complain about your bones like how Brendan complains.
Yeah. No.
You know, everybody different.
Everybody's
I guess. Everybody
different,
bones
yeah.
different.
Everybody
so,
bones
You know,
different,
you
yeah.
made lots of calcium. You made milk.
I don't know. I don't know. But definitely, like.
But definitely, you're
I
feeling
feel-
good.
I feel
turning
great.
37.
37 very soon.
37 means you're closer to 40.
Yes.
Oh my
that's
goodness.
exciting.
Yes, it's exciting. That's gonna. You've been here for like 3 decades and then some.
And then some, yeah.
Oh my. And I love how you approach age with like. It's age. It's not gonna be like, I don't want to tell people my age. Oh shoot. Mary Frances is saying, get off the thing, guys.
We
My
thought
bad.
with a birthday soon, though.
We have a birthday. She's like, guys, wrap up.
Whoa.
Sunrise, and this is courtesy of Paul Casimiro.
Where's this?
It is not Belize this time. Can you guess where it's at? Which country in Central America?
In Central America.
I'm giving you a hint at least.
Maybe Honduras.
No. It has an ad in.
Guatemala.
No.
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua.
Oh.
Ah, yes.
My first photo of Nicaragua.
Managua.
Managua.
So there we go. Thank you so much, Paul, because you had Kevin trying to think and figure out it. But you know what? Before they tell me again in my ears, get off.
Mary Frances, don't grab the mic.
Just grab the mic. Bye, guys. We're going to go
Bye.
to our first commercial break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
In Belize, some things aren't explained. They're passed down. Not because they're tradition, but because they've proven they work. When you work hard for what you have, you learn to protect it. And when the time comes, you pass that responsibility forward. Every generation faces new beginnings, but the choices that matter most are built on trust. For decades, Belizean families have relied on one place to protect their homes, their vehicles, and the lives they're building. When trust is passed down, you know it's been earned. For Belizean families, that trust has a name. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
All your special moments deserve a special place. Book now and save 50% on accommodations and 20% on spa, only at Naya Resort and Spa.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
These charter means aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Sheree Kelsel, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craft.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sunup on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your Nation Station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
In Belize, some things aren't explained. They're passed down. Not because they're tradition, but because they've proven they work. When you work hard for what you have, you learn to protect it. And when the time comes, you pass that responsibility forward. Every generation faces new beginnings, but the choices that matter most are built on trust. For decades, Belizean families have relied on one place to protect their homes, their vehicles, and the lives they're building. When trust is passed down, you know it's been earned. For Belizean families, that trust has a name. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
All your special moments deserve a special place. Book now and save 50% on accommodations and 20% on spa, only at Naya Resort and Spa.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
Muy buenos dias, beautiful Sunup on 7 family. Welcome back to your Wednesday episode. Thank you so much for making some company to Renata and I on today's episode. If you missed that conversations, you can always go back and watch our Facebook recorded live. But of course, we invite you to stay tuned to our Facebook and Instagram pages to know who our guests and what conversations they bring forward to the show. We want to a very important topic. It's hurricane season, and today we're going to be talking about how do you prepare for hurricanes. And joining us on our couch, we have Mr. Daniel Mendez, National Emergency Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Organization. Good morning, Mr. Mendez. How are you doing today?
Very good today.
Yeah, how is your energy level 1 to 10, 10 being the highest?
We're always at 9.5, 9.8.
Oh, okay.
Always.
Always.
Wow. What's your secret?
It's the
My secret is just always treat every day like Monday, ready to go.
Oh, okay.
Treat every day like a Monday.
You're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
You have
I like
to add in
that.
the ready to go there.
Ready
Because
to
some
go.
people might say treat every day like Monday and they don't
That's
have
true.
the same
Monday may
effect.
not be. Facts. Yeah. But next to you, Mr. Daniel, we have Mr. Ronald Gordon, Chief Meteorologist of the National Meteorological Service of Belize. Mr. Gordon, good morning.
Hi, good
Glad
morning.
to have you on Sun Up on 7.
It's a pleasure for
How
me
do you
here.
feel about the hurricane season?
Well, it means that we have to be on our guard. So we are here because it's already June 3rd, 3 days into the hurricane season. And we are here to raise public awareness and to let people know that you need to be prepared. Seasonal predictions, I'm going to speak of those. They're one thing, as we always say, but they don't tell us where a hurricane is going to track.
True.
But let's get into the seasonal predictions.
Yeah,
So,
before we get into that, let's introduce
no problem. My
Ms.
apologies.
Teniel
I love how he's
Henry.
excited and he's
Yeah, I
ready
know.
to
Predictions.
go.
He's like, we're ready for
This is why there's like they're treating
this is
every day
Monday,
like it's a
right?
Monday.
Yes, we are always excited.
But we also joined by Ms. Teniel Hendy, Principal Hydrologist at the Ministry of Natural Resources, Petroleum and Mining. Ms. Hendy, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
How is your energy today, 1 to 10?
I think it's always at 10.
Ooh.
We operate every day, anytime. If you're sleeping, something comes up, the phone rings, you get a WhatsApp message, you have to be ready and going. So it's at 10 all year round. So we don't get a chance to feel tired. We just feel it, but we can't feel it.
Yeah, because you're always on that go, on that like watching for these and preparing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, at some point I would like to know, like, what does a principal hydrologist do? And I think that's a...
Besides being responsible for water management for the entire country,
I love it.
I think that says a lot. But mainly related to the topic we're speaking here is that we're responsible for flooding. So we would give out our flood forecasts, just saying what is forecasted, what we expect, and what is the current situation of rivers throughout the country.
Wow, thank you. And that's really good to see because, we're seeing like the different actors that take place and ensure that we're prepared for hurricanes. Like we always talk about, listen to factual news, like reliable meteorological information. And here you are, NEMO doing the coordination and the hydrological services too, adding to Because flooding
well-rounded,
is
yeah,
something that
preparedness.
does happen with hurricanes.
Well, we all support Nemo. Mr. Mendes will tell you, Nemo is not just him. It's all of us, so.
I love that.
And
Thank you
everybody
for
has
that.
an important role to play, and the actors have to continue to be playing throughout the year because you never know.
Yeah.
But we
So,
have hurricane
predictions.
season,
Uh-huh.
and everybody, is waiting. They're waiting to hear the different voices for the Met Service for them to be able to know how they stand. So, Mr. Ronald, talk to us a little bit about how is this year looking like based on the present predictions.
So yes, as I was trying to say before, and I went ahead of my time, but certainly we are looking at several factors that could affect the 2026 hurricane season. Two main factors that we look at are how much energy there is in the Atlantic basin. That is how warm the sea surface temperatures are. Are they below normal, above, or are they normal? And for this particular season, it appears that we are going to be above normal. And that has been the case for several years. So certainly there is that energy there for these systems to develop. However, an opposing factor is whether you have an El Nino. And as many of you may have heard, we are going to be looking at what could be a strong El Nino for this particular season. How confident we are? Models are saying 90% confident or more that there could be, or 90% chance or more that there could be a strong El Nino developing. So what does that mean for us?
Yeah, what does that mean?
It means that the Pacific Ocean, the equatorial Pacific, will be warmer than normal, meaning that there will be a lot of activity in the eastern Pacific Ocean in terms of hurricane. And those tend to produce what we call stronger vertical wind shear, stronger air rushing up above from the higher levels of the atmosphere, disrupting systems from forming in the Atlantic. So even though we have the energy there for systems to develop, right? We have those storms trying to form, the wind shear will be affecting those for the most part. And what does that mean? It means that we are going to be looking at possible below active hurricane season, below normal. Normal is 14 named storms to form within the year. Those are tropical storms and above, 39 miles per hour winds and above. And of those, 7 typically become hurricane, that's 74 miles per hour and above. And 3 major hurricanes, that's the category 3s, 4, and 5s. Those are 111 and above. So that's your normal season. So given the current conditions, the forecast is for there to be about 8 to 14 named storms. That's from NOAA. And of those, we expect about 3 to 6 hurricanes and 1 to 3 major hurricanes. Of course, there are other factors, whether how much moisture there is in the atmosphere, whether it's going to be an intense Sahara dust season. Actually, we're seeing some Sahara dust coming at the moment. If you look out there, it's kind of hazy. So we see that factor already coming in. Those also tend to suppress hurricane activity in the Atlantic basin. And last thing I'm going to say here before I end off this part is that it only takes 1 hurricane for it to be active. The seasonal predictions are basin-wide, right? The Gulf, Caribbean, Atlantic. It doesn't tell us where these systems will develop once they form and when they will form, or where they will go once they form. So it means that you need to be prepared, you need to be monitoring the day-to-day weather, and that's when we can tell you perhaps 3 days in advance, you need to be on the alert. A system is likely to come our way. That is our preliminary phase. After that, within 48 hours, if it continues to show a sign of coming our way, we go into a watch. There is still a possibility that we may be impacted 24 hours in advance, 36 hours in advance. If all models are indicating and pointing, this is going to hit you, that's where we go into the warning. So that's where you need to be on the alert and to be prepared and to listen to official sources, the Met Service, NEMO, hydrology in terms of the flooding impact that the hurricane could produce on us.
Oh, thank you so much for that.
And I really appreciate you, expounding on the fact that even though they're less active, it's a less active season, that people need to remember they still need to be vigilant and they need to be listening to the correct sources of information. But not only that, they have to understand that these are just predictions. So you don't know necessarily where it's going to be going. Anything can still happen. So because of that understanding that there's still predictions of, I think you said like one or two like more of the severe hurricanes, if that's the case too, right? So if for this season.
They are forecasting 1 to 3 possible major hurricane.
Major hurricane. So in that same sense, we have to be very mindful because there is still the chances of
Yes, of course. And like I said before, the seasonal prediction is just saying total numbers, but it doesn't tell you when they will form and if they do form, where they will trap. So that's what is important. You need to be monitoring, you need to be prepared, and you need to take any all precaution. Once we issue those phases of the hurricane alerting system, you need to take action. When it comes to official source of information, I just want to mention, right? Global models are always creating predictions, forecasts, sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks in advance. The longer a forecast is before the time, the longer the lead time is, the less accurate those forecasts are. So whenever a model comes out with a hurricane forecast 2 weeks in advance, it may be that a hurricane doesn't develop any at all. Or if it does form, it may track in a completely different direction than what the model is saying. And that is the reason why at the Met Service, we do not present global model prediction 2 weeks in advance.
Okay.
There are, of course, persons out there that do that, and I'm aware of it. They go out there, they are always running models and showing you models and so forth.
And people get frantic.
And of course, it raises a level of unnecessary panic, I will say. And therefore, the preparation is important, the awareness is important, but then there's that phase of the alerting system in which you do take action. And that's why we are here, to inform you of that.
Thank you. So as we continue with the conversation, I know that we're talking about hurricane preparedness, and I feel like people prepare when they hear the word hurricane, but we also know that there's tropical storms, tropical depressions, which may come with a lot of rain rather than a lot of wind. So we're talking about how to prepare for the wet season, if we can say that, right? So in that regard, why is it important for people to stay tuned to reliable, like weather updates, but also like how do you prepare for the wet season period? Because we see like we do not want to, because I remember when there was this hurricane category 1, people was like, oh, it's just a category 1, But point is, it's a hurricane, like regardless. So how do we prepare for the wet season if we can use that?
Well, usually the wet season that we know, it usually correlates directly to flooding. That's usually the first impact that we're going to feel, along with maybe if it's a strong windy event, you might have some roofs blown off, some zincs lifting and stuff, but really it's the flooding, and the flooding is what restricts movement. It restricts access. So I would say don't say hurricane season.
Okay.
I say an event. An event can be an excessive rainfall event. We've had cases where in Orange Walk town, where you don't normally have flooding, you have flooding, and so that's urban flooding caused by excessive rainfall events. And then it's coupled with other factors like your drainage, if it's adequate enough, if you clean it, you do maintenance. So it's really you're preparing for the flooding aspect of what we know as the wet season. So for us, we put out our flood forecasts every day.
Okay.
And it's as necessary. If there is a change, we usually put out for 12 noon. If there's a change between 12 and 3, we'll be putting out one at 3 o'clock the same day. So you will never see at the bottom tomorrow. It just says as necessary because the situation can change. There are different types of flooding. You have coastal flooding, mainly powered by storm surge. Belize City have tides. You have combinations of that. You have combinations of flooding coming down the river system, which is called riverine flooding. Then we have excessive rainfall, which we call pluvial, but those are just, nice fancy words. We know rain, river, tide,
Yes.
Hurricane, right? Urban flooding is mainly what is caused in Belize City and in inland areas. You have that urban flooding with excessive rainfall events. In Kaya, it's a bit different. You have mountains, you have slopes. We have the dams on those on that riverine system. While they're not built as flood control, primarily, they do serve a function of flood control, but we know that's not why they were built, but it does have that additional function. So what really you're looking at is, we can say excessive rainfall, Belize City, what does that mean? Do I stay? Do I move? What do I need to do to prepare for that eventuality? So wet season is basically flooding. You're preparing for.
Flooding. Could we talk a little bit about flash flooding and how people are supposed to be dealing with that aspect? Because I've heard persons talk about not knowing and getting frantic when they think about the idea of flash flooding. What are they supposed to do? Could we talk a little bit on that?
Okay, so flash flooding is driven by excessive rainfall events, or not really excessive as the Met Office would say. Sometimes you just have constant rain in a short period of time. So flash flooding can occur in a 1 hour time span, a 3 hour time span, or a 6 hour time span. So how we manage that is that there is a regional system called the Central American Flash Flood Guidance System. It's a lot of words, we just say CAFG. That's easier. This is a platform that looks at all the parameters that are required to have flash flooding conditions. And so there are thresholds that we look at. Our flood forecast for yesterday had flash flooding alerts because the thresholds that were on that system compared to what we were seeing on the ground, or we predict, or not say predict, because predict is a bad word, what the model is showing at that time, it would be favorable. It's highly favorable. So we have low, we have medium, medium high, and then you have high. And so we now put out those information through infographics, because words, people like the pictures and nice and fancy. You show your little dot with your village on the map and everything. So we do use that system. It's really a help for us. We know areas in the west and the south are usually the flash flood areas. So we would say any river system emanating off the eastern slopes of the Maya Mountains, which is practically Cayos, Creek, Toledo. They can have flash flooding, and they come very quickly and they pass very quickly, but the force is what is the destructive power with it. So whenever we put out the alerts, don't get frantic. Look at the information and see what it says. If it says low potential, don't get frantic. You start to be concerned when you see medium high or high potential. It just means look out, monitor your surroundings. We also have a landslide threat index that's off that same system, where that one is very easy. It's either 0 or 1. So if there are red pixels in the territory of Belize, it means it has a positive threat for landslide. It just means that the soil saturation is there, the rainfall is there, and it's very conducive to having a landslide event. So while it might not happen, and we thank the good Lord that it doesn't happen, it's so that you have this available to you, so that if you keep abreast with us and listen to the agencies that would give you this kind of information, you're more informed, because we say in the absence of information, we speculate. And that goes across the board. So we're, as agencies, trying to put out as much information as we can, not to create panic or anxiety, but just for you to be informed and for you to make your decision as to what you will do.
I think, and inform persons that that are in the area, or so like, hey, this is what they're saying, just so you can be mindful of it. But I'm glad that you said that there's certain terms that people should be mindful of, because I think once you hear flash flood, once you hear these things, you're like, oh, not that it's coming from me. I gotta evacuate. I gotta do this, and I've seen it.
And I am like, principal hydrologist, come true. You did an excellent job just now. Guiding us through.
I can't take all the credit. I can't take all the credit. I have a wonderful team at the office, and we have an extended team in that all our hydrological stations are monitored by community residents that reside there. So they are the ones who would say, the river, I passed it, it was at 1 meter. It's 10 minutes and it's like 1.5 meters. So that's an indication for us as well to match with the models that what it's showing. It might or might not be telling us what's happening. Their models, their zeros and ones, they change very rapidly. So the human context of it, that is very important for us. So we also thank our observers who do this very dangerous job to some level. And so we try to just, tell them thank you, or if there's a flash flood, we say, well, thank you to our observer in Blue Creek South or in Jordan or wherever. Because, when we feel like we're a part of the system, and you are a part of the system, we're still human. So we need that little pat on the back, like, good job.
Yeah, because it's not easy work.
That's really good to hear. And that's also good to know that from your department, there's a report that comes out every day, so we encourage people to tune in, but also like your explanation was able for us to how to navigate this report and understand it better in terms of how do you prepare for the event of any flood that may come. Let's invite Mr. Mendez into the conversation. So we're aware of what NEMA does, but like in this regard, what are some of the tips or ways how people can prepare in terms of for this wet season?
Okay, so firstly, when we say listen to the trusted sources, I think you've heard enough from our scientific partners, right? And so when we say listen to the trusted sources, because we know what the Met Service is doing, we know what hydrology is doing, and I can ask them afterward to talk about the advancements that they have been able to do. And so, as we had said before, they are getting better at their jobs. And when they get better at their jobs, then NEMO gets better at its job. Because what we're able to do is ensuring that our decision making is based on science. It's based on things that we know are happening, and we're not speculating. And so we're able to give people accurate information, enough early warning, and just enough information for people to prepare. So, in preparation for hurricane season should be prepared, the same preparation you use for any threat, any hazard, right? And so when NEMO is not an organization that only comes alive when this hurricane season. We are just like everyone else in the emergency system. We are active 24/7. So we are responsible for basically any hazard, any threat that you see in the country. It's just that when it comes to hurricane season, you see more because it can threaten the entire nation.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
So what we have been doing is several things at several levels. NEMO itself is a system; it's not one organization. So when you see NEMO, the people with this logo, we represent the NEMO Secretariat. This is a core of people who are always on duty. The different levels include now the national level, where we have different emergency support functions, and so we have 14 functions. Which address all aspects of disasters, and these are led by 14 different ministries. The other level now is at the municipal level, where you see organizations such as CMO. You see the different councils have their own emergency function within their community. And then with the next level is villages. And the last level is individuals. And then we have all our partners, such as the media. It's an important part of NEMO, and you should know that you are a part of the national system. So everyone has a role to play in the preparation. So we have been working with all of these levels, and so we have been working with the ministries, ensuring that all the plans for this season are ready, that they're prepared, that we have that level of preparation. We have been working with the town councils, the city councils, and ensuring that is ready as well. And we have also been reaching out to communities and individuals. So. And that's the level that we have been doing. We have also been putting out a lot of information on our social media, and so there's preparation that needs to be done, and it really becomes a mindset of what you need to do. When you leave your house, you ensure you have your phone, your wallet, and so on, because if something happens, I have my wallet my phone in my wallet, so I can call. You need to take the same approach when you go to hurricane seasons. You don't do it just before something happens. So you have to be prepared. Where am I going to go? If I have to evacuate, I need to know, am I even in an area that will flood, which is really important. So you need to be finding out, am I in that area? So the information is there. You can reach out to any of our district coordinators. We have 10 offices across the country. And you can find their contact numbers on our website. If you don't know, if you're not sure of what to do, you can contact those district coordinators and ask for advice. If you live on San Pedro or Kikok or any of the islands, you need to know what to do. Am I going to evacuate? Is there a system for me to evacuate? Where am I going to go? And so we have that available. I would also ask my colleagues to share the new products that we have been able to develop. On our end, you can go on our website. There's a shelter locator function, where even if you don't know, if you're planning to go to Belmopan or San Ignacio and you don't know anything there, you can locate the shelter on a map. It can give you, if you're on your phone, it can give you driving, walking directions to that shelter. We also have the shelter list is already available on our website as well, and on our Facebook page. So you can find the information. So information is there. And so we've been putting out a lot. Over the past week, we've been putting out a series of lessons. We have 7 lessons that you can use to really learn how to plan better. So planning is not something that you'll do just before, because that leads to concern and that leads to panic. What we want people to do is to start to prepare now. So if we do have to activate the system, you know what to do. You're calm, you're controlled, and you know what you need to be doing. And so my last point with NEMO, we don't prepare for if something will happen. NEMO prepares for when something happens. The system is ready, and we encourage the public to do the same. Don't think just because the prediction is for a bit below average season that we should relax and we can take it easy, because as the chief meteorologist will tell us, it only takes one hurricane to be for our season to be active.
Yeah, and these things can develop very fast in that sense. I'd love to just, because I know we're coming to the close of this conversation, but for you on your end, because you mentioned about 14 different areas that you guys have to operate in, and I'm knowing 14 different areas are not cheap, and there's a lot to go with that. So in that same sense, could you educate the public to know some of like the challenges that NEMO faces when it comes to being able to know, to be active and ready for when something happens? Because I'm thinking about all the areas that you guys have to touch and like the resources available and all these things. So how is that when it comes to like being able to be fully prepared and the challenges that you guys are facing?
Okay, so because it's a national system, we have to ensure that there's budget for us to be able to do this.
100%.
So government has been able to develop a disaster risk financing strategy.
Excellent.
And so we have tools available in order for us to be able to actually do the work that we need to do. Now that said, well, of course, we would always need more resource, because we would always want to do the best job that
and
we
do
can.
more, yeah.
And my colleagues and I will tell us that we would always love to have the best staff, more fun, so we can do a better job.
So I'm just thinking about 14, how much staff you guys have to fund all these different ministries.
Yeah. So it continues to be a challenge, but we continue to do the best we can with what we have.
Yeah, with the limited resources, we still kind of get it done. I'd love to have another follow-up conversation at another point in time to talk about like maybe the updates that are taking place that you mentioned before on both sides of the technicalities. Unfortunately, we're run out of time. But I'd love for you guys again to remind persons of where they can look and see exactly the flood updates, Met services, NEMA and all that thing one more time so that people can remember if they're living under a rock for some reason and don't know where are the sites that they're supposed to be going, to make sure that they're staying up to date and being mindful of like how they're reading what they're seeing too, because they could read the flood update and they read the wrong thing and start, I'm sure you know that happens very often. So just reminding people to read and to be about. So can you remind them again the specific Facebooks or websites that they're supposed to be going to?
So for flood forecast or hydrological data, we do have our Facebook page. You can follow us at Belize National Hydrological Service. We put not only our flood forecast, but we give snippets of information about what the office does and what you can do in terms of water management, because it's not just the office, it's us. We're the users, we're the managers.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Ms. Mendez?
Okay, so for us at NEMO, you can access information on various means. So first, you can go to our website where we offer information for individuals, families. We even have model business continuity plans for businesses.
Oh, love that.
On the website, you can also find the shelter list. You can find the shelter locator tool. And then you can also find us on Facebook, and we even also have a WhatsApp channel that is available.
Could you share the WhatsApp number if you have that, or maybe the website at least, so I can also put it in the chat for persons that would want?
Yeah, the website is nemo.org.bz, and the WhatsApp channel is really just called NEMO Belize.
Okay, perfect.
And so you can find information available there. And then you can, like I said, you can always reach out to any of the district coordinators in your area to get more information specific to your district and where you live.
Excellent. Mr. Ronald?
Sure. We have a website, nms.gov.bz.
We said that a lot on this show.
It's kind of like rap.
Kevin wants to be a weatherman, by the way. Just throwing that out there, putting
Just
the
at some point
public
read the weather.
club. He just wants to read the weather one time. That's all. Let this man's dream come true, please, Mr. Ronald.
We're going to work
I'm
on
making
that.
the public
Thank you,
clean
Ren. I
right
appreciate
now.
We're going to work on that. So
See, okay.
so we have our website, nms.gov.bz. A vast amount of information is there. We have a very good network of weather stations across this country. So similar to what Mr. Neil mentioned in hydrology, we do have observers outside of the office that measure and do observations once a day, but now we have advanced with weather stations that automatically report every 15 minutes. So you can look from north to south, look at those little black dots on our website, on the map. Those are weather stations reporting in real time. nobody has to be there reading those. But of course, I must compliment my team. We do have a wonderful team as well.
Yes.
And we do have a mobile app, Belize Weather. It can be, you can get it for free. We're not charging for it. It's on Google Play Store, sorry, and also on Android, Apple Store, I believe that's one. So certainly you can download that app. It will give you the same information, but also it's more handy. It's on your mobile app, it's on your phone. We do issue alerts for excessive rainfall. We do issue alerts for different weather conditions, and you can get that on that app as well. So certainly there's a lot of information that we're providing. We do want to get back on TV and do the nightly weather forecast, and at some point, I will invite you to.
It's exciting. I will also want to say the viewers are just telling you guys thank you so much for all your services. The entire team that does, the different agencies and supports all the work. It's not easy work. You guys work around the clock. When the emergencies are happening, whatever they be, big or small, you guys are still working when other people are trying to get themselves together. So they really want to say thank you guys and respect to all of you for the work that you guys do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Great job.
And with that, guys, we're going to go to our next commercial break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
In Belize, some things aren't explained. They're passed down. Not because they're tradition, but because they've proven they work. When you work hard for what you have, you learn to protect it. And when the time comes, you pass that responsibility forward. Every generation faces new beginnings, but the choices that matter most are built on trust. For decades, Belizean families have relied on one place to protect their homes, their vehicles, and the lives they're building. When trust is passed down, you know it's been earned. For Belizean families, that trust has a name. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Special moments deserve a special place. Book now and save 50% on accommodations and 20% on spa. Only at Naya Resort and Spa.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
These charter means aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Cherie Culsel, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm a bureaucrat.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sunup on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to your Wednesday episode of Sunup on 7. Thank you so much for the company you make to Renata and I, our guests that come through today. We move on to our next conversation, and we're joined by our friends from the Belize Electricity Limited on the continued topic of how to prepare for the rainy season. Joining us on our couch, we have Zane Fitzpatrick, Safety Coordinator at BEL. Zane, good morning.
Good morning. Good
It's a
morning.
pleasure to have you on Sunup on 7. You have quite a big task. Safety Coordinator.
Yes.
Yeah. We'd like to do a check-in with our guest. How are you feeling today, 1 to 10? What's your energy level?
Well, I take 8 today.
Take
8 today.
I take 8
Okay.
today.
I like how you
It
said
will
I
be
take
better
8.
though. It can get better.
It
will
can get better. It should get better.
Definitely.
It's
and it's just like
Wednesday.
it's just like 8:06.
Yeah,
you know,
so-
maybe by 9 it's.
You're a bit ambitious.
You don't
like I
eat
said,
something, is maybe that's the reason.
Maybe.
After a nice little snackaroni, you know.
Definitely
you,
that 10.
Okay.
Yeah. We're also joined by Ms. Myrna Acevedo, Supervisor of Customer Service. How are you doing? Customer experience. All right,
It's like,
thank you.
My bad. My
My bad.
dyslexia kind of
Yes, it happens. It happens. So, Ms. Myrna, good morning. It's a pleasure to
Morning.
have you on Sun Up on 7.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. How, like, in terms of, like, we're talking about hurricane preparedness, what are some things that people should have in mind coming from BTL's perspective as
Okay,
regards to like,
well,
how to prepare for the
Scoot
hurricane?
over to Mr.
BL.
I like Brenna's like, you know what? He's dealing with the safety part. I'm gonna talk about something else. So let's give Zane the hard question.
Okay, all right.
I love the question. I appreciate the question.
Very
So,
well.
I just want to start off by letting our Belizeans know that, BL is prepared. We have been prepared from last year at the end of the hurricane season, and we will continue to prepare throughout the hurricane season. There are different tasks that BL go about doing to ensure that our grid is reinforced and ready to handle any storms that come along. One of the bigger things that we focus on, and we normally ask, we tap in the Belizeans here, our good customers who are the heart of us, to look at is vegetation management.
Oh,
All right,
Vegetation management.
when we say vegetation management, it's just trees that can interact with the line, because a higher percentage of outages that occur during the hurricane season are as a result of vegetation.
Tree drop down,
Right,
knock things,
so-
all of that.
Right, so we can't catch everything, so we ask our Belizeans to call us in advance of the hurricane season, of course. June 1st or the hurricane will come, all right?
True.
And it has to be a tree that is interacting with our lines. It can't be the tree at the back of the yard where you want to cut down a long time, all right?
Hey, I could literally see Belizeans call in and say, well, if the wind blow a certain way,
Right.
by the 40-degree angle,
I
it
get
might knock
you.
the thing.
And
But
there's some truth to it, So we also want those that have the potential to fall and affect the line still,
Okay.
all right? So all of these we're paying attention to. And I know Myrna is here to talk about the app, but you can report these things through the app. You could reach us through the app, you could interact with us through the app. And I want to take the opportunity to thank our customers, right? Because whether we get conversation or comments, whether good or bad, we appreciate you and we continue to work to be better for you.
100%. I know that you guys right now are presently rolling out like the smart meters and everything, and that's supposed to kind of give you guys a outlook of, power usage and all these things. How can that actually help if there would be, unfortunately, praying to the Lord that we don't have a hurricane, but if there's that, taking place, how can maybe that support with you guys bringing back power? You know, is that going to be allowing you to see like what persons are receiving the outage? How does it operate in that sense when it comes to restoring power back?
So I will just tap into it lightly. The app give us a more granular perspective of the grid. So does it help with restoration or allow for electricity to come in a bit faster? Not necessarily, but we have a better appreciation of who is affected when the outage does go.
Yeah. So just to add in regards to what Zane was saying in regards to the vegetation management, so we do a lot of system improvement works way before the hurricane season. But in the event there is a tree maybe close to the lines or in the lines that we're not seeing, the app is very convenient in allowing our customers to submit those reports. So they get direct updates through the app, and then directly BL is in your neighborhood changing this tree, right? So it's very easy and convenient for you to access and make these reports through the app.
Updates.
So
when electricity come on, where we are, what we're doing.
So they can be able to funnel through everything when it comes to that for the app. I had asked this last time, but I'm just double checking now because I didn't check on the app to see if it updated. Is there an availability of like Spanish or anything at all when it comes to the app also for persons that might need to be able to maybe get their information and their updates in Spanish or so? Has that been something provided or is in the future to be provided?
Yeah, so it's currently not. You may see that there is a settings portion of the app where you have a language. So we are working towards being able to introduce Spanish because that's one of the other main languages in the country. So we can be able to cater to all of our customers as well, right? So I know we're moving a little bit into the app, so I just want to take a little bit of step back to allow the viewers to be able to understand what the app is. So it is, it's called the BL 24/7 app. It's essentially the easiest way to all things BL, where our customers can access all our services at their fingertips, right? So when it was launched in 2020, since then we've had multiple upgrades to continuously improve the user experience, and we've done this through customer feedback. So we thank everybody who has shared feedback to be able to continuously improve the app, right? Since then, we have about 112,000 registered users in the app. We have over 70,000 BL accounts being managed through the app. So we're seeing really our customers are utilizing it to manage their accounts, right? So one of the things they can do is apply for services. So if you want electricity, you could apply for it through the convenience of the app. You don't have to go anywhere. You can be home, you can be in the office, and you can submit it through very user-friendly steps. Everything through there, you get direct updates, and next thing you see, BL is connecting your service in the area, right? So you can manage your accounts. You can manage up to 80 accounts through the app. So it's meant for, yes, our residential customers. It's also meant for commercial customers. It's meant for property managers, people who manage multiple accounts. But also, because it has so many features, it's not only for customers, it's also for consumers. So we're talking about hurricane preparedness. When electricity goes, it becomes everybody's business, right? So our app really helps you to be able to be in the know of all things BL. We have a power update section where customers can go to be in the know of. We post educational content. You can see customer rewards and, of course, outage notices. So in the event it's needed, power updates in the BL 24/7 app is the way to go. You can you can follow to receive direct updates, and our customers can interact with us as well because they can help us to investigate. For instance, if there's an unplanned power outage or even during the hurricane season.
Is there a feature where if I would send in my picture to say, you know what, they got this tree, whatever it is that's coming, is there an update that you're saying that maybe in the next 2 weeks, next week, next day or so that they're going to be responding to it? Or is it just you kind of wait until there's a response from it? How does that work with persons out there? Because I'm also thinking about a person that has made a report and maybe is wondering, they hear me, what happened, when they will come?
Yeah. So whenever you submit a report, because that's the other portion of it, right? Apart from everything else that you can do, you can also submit reports. So we spoke about tree cuts. If there's a light in your ear that's not working, you don't have to be a BL customer to be able to submit this report, right? You get direct updates through the app. So once you submit a report, you're provided a tracker ID number, and then you get continuous updates through to the creation of this work order. And you're informed how long it is that will be in your area to conduct this repair. So you do get direct updates through the app as well.
Excellent. Because I can just imagine the answer people were just like, they know they can't cut my trees then. I don't put up my tree, and I don't want to cut my tree. But, I want to go back into the safety.
Can I ask some questions? Yes. So we're talking about, the use of the app as regards to hurricane preparedness, monitoring, in case if there's any power outages. Does the app allow people to be able to know there's a power outage and when it's going to come back and that kind of thing to be able to monitor how they go about navigating?
Definitely. So there is the power updates that we mentioned. Through there, we post updates of the outages. So if there's an outage, the information we share is the type of outage, what's the cause of the outage, if we know the areas affected, and the estimated restoration times.
Very good.
Yeah, so they can follow to receive direct updates. In the event there's a delay with restoration, in the event maybe we restore some areas, but some remain to be restored. There is also a community section where if you want to report something in your community, you will be able to see if there's something already in there before you go ahead and submit the report.
Very well,
So, yes.
very well. Thank you. So let's continue with the conversation on hurricane preparedness. You talk about, one of the things that people do to prepare for hurricanes and what BL can assist them with is vegetation control,
Right.
But what are other areas that you would like to emphasize for our viewers to be aware of, like, in terms of like electricity and hurricane preparedness? I'm thinking, how do you handle your electrical equipment at home? What are some tips that you have to give in that regard to ensure that their equipment is protected, that they still continue to be able to use them and in that regard?
Right. Your previous guest spoke a lot about hurricane and what it is, all right? So I want to start off by encouraging our customers to have a plan, all right? Where electricity is concerned, we ask that you turn off your power before if you plan to leave the house, all right? Lift up anything from off the floor that is electrical and put it as high as possible. And if you plan to evacuate, turn off your electricity. Outside of that, I just want to take the opportunity to say BL is preparing to keep the electricity on for as long as possible. All right, we do not turn off electricity during the passage of a storm, but when the electricity goes, we will not be responding until the all clear is given. All right, and if I may, I take the opportunity to big up with linemen, our power line technician. All right, these guys are the guys who are out in the streets 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning to ensure that we have electricity. All right, and so during the passage of a storm, we will sit on our hands. During our clear, they're the first to respond. All right, and if you pay attention, for the past 2 years, we've been sending out our PLTs out to assist the Caribbean countries
Definitely.
that were affected by the storm. And again, if we need the help from Carolec, they also come and assist us. All right, so take the opportunity to give these gentlemen their flowers, the engineers, the transmission substation guys.
Yeah. So my last question for you is, like, how do we navigate post-hurricane, at least like in regards to BL? We know like people like to go and inspect areas, they are very curious about the damage. How should we navigate this in case there's lines, like hanging and stuff like that?
Right. We invite individuals, of course, to not come out before the all clear is given. We encourage you to treat all downline as if though it's live. So don't try to interact with the lines. Please use the app, report these things to us so that we can assess and deal with it. So whether the line is live or dead, I use that term here, all right, or de-energized, we encourage individuals to treat all line, especially where electricity and water is concerned. There's a hazard, there's a heavy hazard there that you treat that as if though that line is live.
Yeah, I think that's super important.
Correct. And I must mention, and speak on it so lightly, the NEMO, we're a part of the National Restoration Unit Committee of NEMO, where we are given what I term a soft all clear, where utilities are given a lead time to go out and do the necessary inspection and even start works before the official all clear is given. Of course, this is when it's safe to do so.
100%.
Okay.
What is the biggest challenge you think BL faces when it comes to dealing with hurricane preparedness and the citizens and moving forward in a progressive manner? What would you say when it comes to safety, whether it be the app or so forth, whether it be usage of the app? What do you think is like one of the biggest, or maybe two of the biggest things that, are barriers at BL being able to do their job when it comes to safety, restoring power, using app for hurricane preparedness?
Vegetation management.
That's the one that's really like getting to you guys.
Vegetation management. Again, a high percentage of our outages are caused by vegetation. Outside of the hurricane, especially within the passage of a storm. All right, so we again take the opportunity to invite you guys to please call us, let us know you are the eyes and ears out there. So that is one of the biggest challenges from that perspective.
And do you guys have persons that like kind of scope the area too to see?
Right.
I know there's so much different lines and posts. It's very hard to do so, but you guys also do your checks to also
Right.
see.
We have various inspection programs that allow us to check for that, and again, the integrity of the assets that we have out there, the utility poles, wires, the cross arms, that these are sound in preparation for, again, the threat of any storm.
Yeah. As we like start winding down this conversation, Zain, is there like any advice that you would have in terms of like house infrastructure? You know, I know some people, they have their meter like off the house and maybe like on a stake rather than on a proper cement and stuff like that. You know, like how like house infrastructure is very important to have in mind for hurricane preparedness.
Where that is concerned, there are standards that we have to abide by. There are some people who have these meters up before these standards were applied or before the new standards come in, all right? As it relates to that, we have teams that go around and try to assist in bringing these individuals up to standard. We cannot force anyone to do so. However, if you are affected during the storm, BL will be there to assist you if your service entrance, that's the term we use, goes down.
Very well. Well, thank you so much for joining us today to give us, you know, I guess a sense of comfort in terms of that BEL has your back in terms of like monitoring, you know, power, preparing for storms. In case there's any vegetation that needs to be controlled, you're there to be able to support, and how to use the app in case to like make reports, you know, like follow through with power outages. So many things coming through this app, right? But definitely we're so grateful for the opportunity you come on the show to be able to share those things with us.
Most definitely. So with that, guys, we're going to go to our last commercial break, and when we're back, we're going to be wrapping up today's show. Stay tuned.
Hold on.
In Belize, some things aren't explained. They're passed down. Not because they're tradition, but because they've proven they work. When you work hard for what you have, you learn to protect it. And when the time comes, you pass that responsibility forward. Every generation faces new beginnings, but the choices that matter most are built on trust. For decades, Belizean families have relied on one place to protect their homes, their vehicles, and the lives they're building. When trust is passed down, you know it's been earned. For Belizean families, that trust has a name. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
All your special moments deserve a special place. Book now and save 50% on accommodations and 20% on spa, only at Naya Resort and Spa.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
These charter mints aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Sherry Culsel, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craft.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Let's all be safe during the rainy season. Belize Electricity Limited reminds you that heavy rains can cause flooding in your neighborhood and on roads. Avoid driving or walking in flooded areas, which can have hidden dangers such as debris and fallen power lines. Belize Electricity Limited cares about your safety. Please stay safe.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
And we are back, Boozlers, and literally out of time because it's over 8:30. We're just going to thank our guests that were here today. We had BL just in talking about safety measures, using their BL 24/7 app, and what you can do to help them, which is the vegetation is a problem. They need to cut down them trees. And then, of course, we were talking to NEMO, Met Service, and the Ministry of Natural Resources, Petroleum and Mining with the principal hydrologist that was in today, which was a great conversation. We're hoping to have her back to talk a little bit more about floods and explaining the little flood images to us, which I think is going to be an exciting conversation for the viewers to have. But that's it, guys.
That's it. Thank you so much for joining us and everything, how to prepare for this hurricane wet season. It's June 3rd.
It's June 3rd.
3 days into the
And I missed
hurricane
Earth
season.
today. That's what Angelina Mary Francis told me.
But folks, we love you and we wish you a fantastic, fantastic hump day. Tune in tomorrow for another great episode of Sunup on 7. We love you and we thank you for your company.
Bye.
A place to call your home, a place where you can grow. Stand by me and we'll take flight. We'll be there at morning's light. I've got you covered on all concerns we share today. You will discover how the world turns each day. When the sun comes up